Spencer Rattler on the Saints-Bills loss. Ladies and gentlemen, Spencer Rattler now goes to 0-10. Now, I actually did a little research for you guys. So, Spencer Rattler is the 9th quarterback in NFL history to go 0-10 to start his career. And I showed you, or on this tweet, I'll show you the remaining quarterbacks. Some interesting names on there, huh? Not saying that it's good or bad, but it's interesting. Derek Carr, Troy Aikman, Warren Moon, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Now, hey, listen. Before we get started, I want to tell you something. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, or my mouth where my money is, whatever the phrase is. Doesn't seem clean. Doesn't seem the most hygienic. But anyways, this week, this is what we're going to do. This week, until kickoff of the next game, until kickoff, so from right frickin' now to noon on Sunday, everything in my store is 10% off. I mean, everything, not just the total, whatever. Every item you add to your cart, when you add it to your cart, you will see a discount code on there automatically applied. 10% off the entire store. All right, so this is the time now before kickoff. Get involved. Okay, here we go, Spence.
You know, we had opportunities. Thought we played much better than last week. Obviously, It's a really good team, and credit to them. They took advantage of their opportunities, and we just fell a little short. We ran the ball really, really well. We're moving it up and down the field. Kind of stalled out in the red zone that last drive, second half, and there was a few moments in that game where we could have taken it over, and just doesn't always go your way. So credit to them, they played well.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue, given the situation, given the opponent, given all that stuff, this is the best game the Saints have played this season. Just the way that they contained Josh Allen, the way that they kind of played overall, they cleaned up by far the operation. Penalties, in and out of the huddle, all that stuff, timeouts, whatever, was wildly better than the other games. Now, does that mean that they now respect Kellen Moore? Do they not hate him anymore? Do they now want him as a coach and not a paintball player? Whatever, who knows? Right, the Green Bay Packers have had blocked kicks in multiple games, in back-to-back games. Does that mean that they don't respect Matt LaFleur? I don't know. We have to investigate. But all of that was way better. And I'll tell you what I like. I've always said this about Sean McVay. When something works, Sean McVay leans into it. I remember one game he threw 13 consecutive play-action rollout passes with Jared Goff because it worked. I like that Kellen Moore said, running the ball works. We are going to run the football. He understood the assignment, as the youth say. He understood the fastest way that I can win this game, or the easiest way I can win this game, is by running the football, keeping Josh Allen on the sideline, and mucking it up. And he did it. Even when they were down, he did it. And to me, that shows that he's taking every game by its own individual thing. He's playing to the game. He's adapting to the game. And he's finding the line to victory. I use that term all the time. It's like a poker, Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering thing. But the only way you can win in situations like that is you got to find the line. What is my line to victory? All right, how do I win this? Kellen Moore found the line. Didn't work out, but he found the right line.
Response did you notice from Kellen this week after a loss like that one? And was there anything he did that you feel like, I don't know if inspired is the right word for professionals, but like got the guys together to block in?
Yeah, I mean, we just knew we had to get better. We knew we had a big test this week and couldn't play like we did last week. So, penalties were way down. Ran the ball really well, best that we have all year, and that was our game plan. And we moved the ball well. That's a good team that's going to be playing, late on in the year, in January, February. So, a lot of bright spots, but still, moments to clean up, and everybody. So.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints had multiple opportunities to take the lead late in the game. I mean, one was at the halftime, but one was later in the game. And those are the things that separate the good teams from the bad teams, and the bad teams from the really bad teams, and the average teams from the good teams, and so on and so forth. And, you take away the Chris Olave interception, you take away Rattler missing Brandon Cooks and the overturned and all that stuff, and it's a completely different game. But they did move the football. I mean, there were good drives. Still some ugly drops, Playmakers doing Rattler no favor. The 4th and 2, Kamara, could he get the first down? If he doesn't slip, whatever, like things like that. It's like, man, those moments, they gotta go. They gotta go your way when you're trying to upset a team like the Buffalo Bills, who have a cheat code at quarterback.
I feel like you're close, and is that more encouraging or frustrating?
It's frustrating, because
that was a good question.
These teams, we're in these games, and just got to close them out. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
But we know who we are. We know what we can be, and there's 13 more games left to show that. So
quick math.
Whatever happens going forward, we're just going to keep working, keep building, and keep progressing. That's it.
See, that's a good – the way Spencer framed that, and I know it was a 15-second answer, but the way he framed that is kind of how I feel about the whole situation. It is frustrating to lose these games week in and week out when you can win them. It is absolutely frustrating to be like, damn, we had we had 3 shots at the end zone to win the game. Damn, we had a drive to win the game and we slipped on 4th down. Damn, we had a chance to win this game and an overturned call and a this and a that and a this. That is frustrating. Simultaneously, it does tell you kind of who you are and what the team is doing. It does kind of tell you, like, all right, well, this is who they are. This is how they're operating. This is their level. This is their capabilities. And that's why the Seattle game threw me for such a loop, because after the Seattle game, it's like everyone just forgot about the first 2 games. And it's like, guys, those happened. Those existed. Like we have had 3 out of 4 games be highly competitive. This is not a situation like the Titans where they get blown out every week. This is not a situation even like Carolina, where every week it's just like a volatile up and down. One team's getting blown out, or Carolina's getting blown out and trying to make a comeback or whatever. This is not that. The Seattle game was horrible, no doubt about it. That was a blowout. But Bills, Frisco, Arizona, straight up war, straight up as competitive as those games can get. And it sucks to not win them. It sucks to not get the credit for the performance. But there is something in that to where it's like, you're competitive in these, you're just losing them. Like it's a very different thing than if you're just getting rolled every week and it's just, you're listless.
Is there your perspective on the Philly special play and maybe what went wrong there?
Yeah, it was what it was. You guys saw it. It was a tough play. Chris isn't a quarterback, and I don't put the blame on him.
Yeah, Rattler doing a good job there to deflect the blame, because the blame is on Chris, obviously. Don't throw the ball. That's one of those plays where you have got to be so dialed into the operations of, okay, if he's wide open, throw it. If not, tuck it upfield, lay down, slide, do it, belly flop, whatever you got to do. And Olave just threw it. He just made the decision in the moment and said, hey, Spencer's down there somewhere, and lollipopped it, and that ball never had a chance. Worst case scenario. So that's been obviously the big conversation coming out of this, is like, why run the Philly special or whatever? Why do that? If you're going to run a trick play, run it there, right? Like, you're on the road against Buffalo, catch them by surprise, whatever. But the actual execution of the play just wasn't there. Buffalo covered up Rattler, and then the throw wasn't good, the decision wasn't good, all that stuff. So yeah, hindsight 2020, just run the football or do whatever else you got to do. But it is what it is. And like I said, those kind of things, again, when you think about this game and you think about how competitive the Saints were, and then you're like, well, they missed a 2-point conversion, they threw an interception on a Philly special, they failed a 4th and 2, they overturned a touchdown call. Like, you think about all the stuff that went wrong, or that went against the Saints. It's like, man, that's your answer. Like, those are the things. I keep hearing every game and throughout the games, like, oh, they gotta fire this guy, they gotta cut this player, they gotta trade Kool-Aid, they gotta do this, they gotta do that. That really isn't the answer. The answer is, you can't keep having games with failed 2-point conversion or missed field goal or failed fourth down or overturned touchdown or touchdown that turned into a field goal or what. You can't keep having those games. And this one, as competitive as we were, we still had failed fourth down, failed 2-point conversion, overturned touchdown call that turned into a field goal, interception on the 3. You do all that stuff, roughing the kicker. You do all that stuff against the Cardinals, and it's going to be hard to win. You do all that stuff against the 49ers and Mac Jones, it's going to be hard to win. You do all that stuff against the Buffalo Bills, I mean.
Is that the kind of play to where, I'm not trying to drum up anything here, but I'm just curious, just for you from like a competitive standpoint, is that the kind of play to where it's like you'd almost rather the ball in your hands as a quarterback in that moment?
Yeah, I trust Kellen to call the right play. Had the right look, and the play looked great for the last 2 weeks. We've repped it, and, I was ready to catch it in the end zone, but, I trust what Kellen's calling, and the play was set up for success.
How much do you think your legs also opened up the run game, and do you think that was a factor in getting that going?
Yeah, Rattler was really good as far as like running around and taking the chances when they were there.
I'm happy about today is I came into the game wanting to use my legs more, and that got them on their heels a little bit early in the game and opened up some stuff for us, and especially on third down, I think that's crucial. You see we extended drives that way, and sometimes you got to do that, and I was happy about that. Obviously wish there was more to build on, but thought we moved the ball well.
Does a loss completely ruin your birthday, or how does that happen?
It's football, man. It's football. You want a birthday dub, you want a dub every time, but this is the game we play, and you got to keep stacking, keep building brick by brick, no matter what the outcome is.
True.
What's the challenge on that play to Cooks? Looked like you had to try to fit it into.
Yeah, no, I made the check to that route. It was wide shell, and there was no pressure. Nodded him, and it was the look, and I ripped it early, and wish it was a little higher, and I thought he made a hell of a catch. I thought it was a catch, but they reviewed it and it wasn't. So that's tough. You want to hit that, but
yeah, it's crazy with Spencer because that's just a miss, and I thought Cooks caught it. I didn't see anything to overturn it, whatever, but. It's crazy because Rattler has some of these throws where it's like, damn, that was on the money, and then some of these where it's almost like a wide open guy in the end zone or a wide open player downfield. It's like he just misses those. And I mean, happened with Chris Olave. Granted, there was pressure in that play in whichever game it was, the 49ers game, I think. But there was pressure on that play, so that's a little bit different. You can kind of understand that. This one, just a miss, and man, talk about an untimely miss. So. It's crazy because Rattler's fighting his ass off. Like, he's fighting so hard for this team and for every single rep and every single yard, and he's playing tough, and he's all that stuff, and then he's making some of these throws where it's like, okay, perfect throw, all right, very nice, great, whatever, and then it's like the ones he misses are the ones you can't miss, and it's like, damn, man.
On to the next.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about the explosive passing game not being there, but what do you think the key to getting Rashid Shaheed going a little bit, even if those shots aren't there? Is there anything you're saying with that?
Yeah, I mean, just get the ball in his hands in space. I mean, the jets, quick routes, stuff over the top. They did a good job in third down today, and 3rd and 7+ of, making us hot a few times, and had to get the ball out. But, Shaheed's a great player, obviously, and we want to give him the ball more,
What did you see from Trevor Penning just making his first debut at
that is something I thought Buffalo did that San Francisco and Arizona didn't do, was they really blitzed on throwing downs, like third downs. When they knew it was probably going to be a pass play, they sent the house, and the Saints are horrible at picking it up, and dealing with that kind of pressure. And Rattler was pressured immediately, most of the time right up the middle. But yeah, McDermott definitely said, okay, we're gonna come get you.
Yeah, it was great. Great to have him back out there. He's been excited to get back. He's been working his tail off to get back, and you feel a sense of security when all 5 of those guys are out there. They did a great job today. kept me clean for most of the game, and they battled. They battle every week. I'll roll with those guys every single time.
Having those five, do you think that's like one of the reasons your run game started clicking? Is like this is the group that you guys want to have?
Yeah. I mean, those guys were blocking their butts off and leaning on them. We were running the ball. I don't know how many yards we rushed for, but it was a lot. And,
190 yards.
Kendra ran the ball well. AK ran the ball well.
Yeah.
The run game was definitely there today. So that's a good feeling. Thank you.
All right, man. We're getting there. One day at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, get on down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Buy a shirt, buy a hat, buy a mug. I'll see you in the next video.